For over 75 years, the Friends Committee on National Legislation has been a driving force for powerful, nonpartisan policy change in Washington. But we know that lasting change doesn't start in Washington, D.C. It comes from ordinary people around the country who speak truth to power. That's why FCNL supports a network of over 120 grassroots advocacy teams around the country. These teams develop long-term relationships with their members of Congress and their staff to drive change in federal policy.
2 years ago, when we were considering our strategy to end endless wars, we thought of not even trying to lobby our conservative representative, but focus instead on our Democratic senator we thought would be easier. But then we said, no, if we really believe that there is that of God in everyone, we need to try, we need to engage. Well, he became a co-sponsor of the legislation we were asking him to support. So working with the advocacy teams has really taught us to expand our horizons and find common ground with others.
Advocacy teams receive in-depth training and regular support from FCNL staff to learn how they can be most effective. They meet with members of Congress, publish in the media, and organize community events to build support around one legislative campaign each year. These grassroots advocates come from a range of backgrounds and faith traditions, but their efforts are rooted in Quaker traditions like deep listening, connecting across shared values, and speaking to that of God in each person, especially when we disagree.
What I like about FCNL is I always feel that you're speaking with moral authority. I feel that you're always on the right side. You're on the side of the angels, and sometimes when it's uncomfortable, you're always annoyingly right on some of these issues.
One of the things that I appreciate most about my advocacy team is the accountability that comes from meeting as a group. It can definitely feel overwhelming to face the work of making large-scale policy change, like ending endless wars, but knowing that we have a huge network across the country that meets every month and that FCNL is providing resources and policy updates for us is both energizing and sustainable.
The best thing about the Advocacy Teams program is that it works. We've seen firsthand advocacy teams influence congressional offices by encouraging senators and representatives to become champions on key issues, to co-sponsor legislation, and to vote the right way.
The Friends Committee has long been an organization that really understands what peace and justice really means. And not only do you know it intellectually, but you know it and you know how we have to work for it in practice. But I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have been able to do it had it not been for the Friends Committee and how you all have really gotten to your members of Congress and made sure they understood in no uncertain terms that they had to be accountable.
Having witnessed war in my native Vietnam, I began my peace activism by protesting against the U.S. involvement in Vietnam. Now, as an advocacy team member, I find that spiritual grounding is the bedrock of our strengths. In our lobby visits, we project a deep respect for the light in the people we approach, even as we argue forcefully for what we believe. We have had congressional staff welcome us back as friends and tell us how much they appreciate our carefully thought out positions and requests. I never feel more like a citizen than when I go into the halls of Congress to lobby my representative or senator. The feeling that I'm doing my part to make this democracy work.
Ready to join a community of powerful advocates around the country? Go to fcnl.org/advocacy teams to connect with an organizer, get involved with a local team, or start your own.